welcome to another edition of Black Matt's Black Legion blog. Today I'm going to give another Army update. I've gotten quite a bit of the Army built done, almost all the infantry. Here I'm going to showcase the basic Plague Marines and their champions. I'm not going to showcase the Obliterators today because I'm going to use that for its own blog. Believe me, you guys have seen them in the past, couple clips here and there, and they will be their own series of posts, how I built them and how I paint them. Okay guys, here we go. What I want to say about this, again, I'm just kind of featuring some of what I have done, and I have quite a bit of it done. What I do have, and they're all done at different levels. I have them all done at least to a certain level, and I wanted to say something about the unifying theme of the Army. Chaos is a little bit different than perhaps a regular Space Marine Army, because a regular Space Marine Army, they can all be rank and file soldiers. You know, they can all look very similar. You know, if you wanted to do something special, you wouldn't have that. But with the Chaos Space Marine Army could be that way, but not a good one in my opinion. So I want to mention a couple of the unifying themes that I have throughout the Army. Obviously, the robes. That and along with the backpacks that I have, as you notice, they all have the backpacks with the yellow robes that extend to the back. There's a couple reasons I chose this, but then also they have the crazy shoulder pads, and then the shields, while not the same, have an underlying theme. Pretty much, they're not all the exact same, but you get the ideas. They're alike, but not alike. I did this for a very specific reason. You know, it makes the Army cohesive, and when you're going into and you're having your Army judged by somebody else, you almost have to think about the mentality. It seems stupid, but you have to guess what the particular judges you want. It's almost impossible, but you do know that they're gonna like crazy conversions. They're not gonna like all rank and file soldiers, regardless of how well they're painted. And another set of judges you're gonna have to satisfy would be your peers for the Player's Choice Award, which I won in 2007 with an Imperial Fist Army that I'll showcase, or may have showcased, depending on when I release this. So the importance of having your Army tied together is, in my opinion, paramount. In fact, if I remember right, some of the judging criteria is based on, is it a unifying Army? So I want it to look different. I want it to look like chaosy. You know, not just they all have the same exact shoulder pads with same exact spikes sticking out in the same direction, but, you know, where there was freedom of thought, and they got to express themselves in certain ways. You know, of course, they're devotional fanatics, but that's why I want to do that. All right, so another unifying theme I have is running amongst my my champions. And I want to say here, all right, this guy, he's going to be the Nurgle champion with a right-handed power fist. He's going to... All right, guys, sorry about that. Batteries ran out of juice, my fault. So what I was trying to say is, or what I was trying to demonstrate is a cohesive theme I have amongst my champions. Now remember, in my list, I am playing all Plague Marines. Plague Marine squads with champions with power fists. But I want you to go through, or as you go through, I want you to notice, do you notice a theme that I have in my champions? They all have only one power fist, and they all have an open hand, or they don't have another weapon. But the theme another one of the themes I have is I want you guys to pay attention to the actual heads. They're all the visors, you know, knight style, with a slat running down the middle. Now this one looks like Tzeentch. This one should look like Khorne, obviously. Most of the helmets are based off of this helmet right here. This one here hopefully looks like Tzeentch. Or, excuse me, Slaanesh, what am I saying? And this one here is Nurgle. He's going to be a using when I get my hands on a right-handed power fist, I'm gonna have him like punching his own hand, telling everybody to bring it on. Another unifying thing on all the champions, I have the same shoulder pad which comes out of the Thousand Suns, but I think it looks a lot like the Eye of Horus. So I'm gonna paint it, and I think it's awesome for me. Now, why in the world would I theme these figs if I'm playing all Nurgle army? It'll piss somebody off. Yeah, there are haters out there. Don't worry about that. But what I wanted to do when the Chaos Codex came out, and before I ever decided to build this broken cheesy ass army, is I wanted to have an army with the 4 gods. Tzeentch, Khorne, Slaanesh, and Nurgle. This is one way that I'm going to do it. I am not going to put any of the marks on the figures or the tanks, but what I am going to do is I'm going to imply that the gods are there. On one of the rhinos that you may or may not have already seen, I've got skulls all over the top. That's going to be my devotion to Khorne. But I'm still going to be playing it as a Plague Marine. And I know there are haters out there. But look, there's absolutely nothing they can say. This is a WYSIWYG model. There's just nothing they can say. And if you know the background and the fluff of 40K, and if you really have a decent grasp of the models, then I can't see why this is not a great idea. It gets me what I want artistically. And it's not fluffy, but the army is definitely not fluffy, but the build will be fluffy. Hopefully I'm going to get big points for that. So in regards back to what I was trying to say, is the unifying theme of an army is hugely important. But to have all different figs, if you want an award-winning army, I think is important. If you notice, like some of the really crazy, well-built army, they've all got different poses, and just different stances and stuff like that. So that's the thing in my army. There's only 3 figs that are similar in regards to actual builds, and that's these over here. So I've got I've got a bolter there. He's got the chain field on it. These guys have these two are really the ones that are really similar. Okay, but other than that, everything else is different. I've given them all different heads, different poses, at least as the best that I can. So it's going to look like a very cohesive army, yet there is enough reason for someone to stand and look at individual models. There's enough interest. They don't all look the same, like the guys with the bolters in back. I'm doing those, well, I was running out of poses and bits. So guys, email me with any suggestions that you think, or any ideas, any questions. I'll be happy to answer, or perhaps I'll take your suggestion.